G'day YouTube, AussieFIFA HD, and welcome back to yet another FIFA 22 tutorial on the channel. Today we are giving you guys a complete guide to attacking in FIFA 22. I'm teaching you guys everything from skill moves to making runs. So without further ado, let's get into the intro, and then I'm going to teach you guys and deconstruct how to attack in FIFA 22.
Three men around him, and somehow finds some space. Ronaldo, fantastic opening the drive back.
He's made himself the tiniest bit of space.
Almost feels like a bit of a time. Didn't really go for him. Oh! The display there is absolutely ridiculous. The Elastico on the goal line. On the goal line, the finest.
We
of
talked about
margins.
AussieFIFA. He's not here to make up the numbers.
We obviously need to jump into where you're meant to shoot this year in FIFA 22. It always seems to be different throughout each iteration of FIFA. You had FIFA 20 where it was near post, you have FIFA 21 where it was far post. Well, I'm about to break it to you guys. FIFA 22, in my opinion, is far post, and for me it's one of the most efficient ways of shooting this year in FIFA 22. Near post still works, don't get me wrong, but you're going to have more of a chance at shooting far post. And in my opinion, lads, when you're one-on-one with a keeper, or even trying to get a shot off, try and hit for that far post, but don't please be put off by hitting it near post. If the opportunity is there and your defender is of course blocking that shot with his defender, smash it near post. And I highly recommend using at least 3 bars of power when you go near post, because you want to hit it hard and high into the top corner when you're shooting near post. But for me, the most overpowered way of shooting this year is definitely aiming for that far post area. Another shooting technique that I believe is back in FIFA 22 are low drivens. They seem to work a lot better than previous years in FIFA 21 and FIFA 20, and basically I find that the keeper sort of just falls down on the ground. It's a bit weird, the animation's really weird, but we'll see in time whether EA patch this and whether low drivens will remain overpowered. One thing I do want to add into this shooting segment is that keepers are overpowered this year. They will make tremendous saves, out of this world saves. You could hit it top corner and somehow Kepa makes that top corner save. It's with that new hyper motion feature where they've basically taken keeper movements, they've added in animations which allows them to save shots with different animations, and that has proven to be super overpowered this year in FIFA 22. One tip I can give you to overcoming this is staying composed in the bots. I know I said you can shoot far post and near post. One thing I prefer to do is get that 100% goal, and I think that's the only way we can try and overcome overpowered saves this year in FIFA 22 is finding that 100% goal. The way you can do that is by staying composed, finding that extra pass inside the bots, and basically slotting it home. Okay, it's going to be a 100% goal if you're going to sweat the ball across the bots and have that tap in. Okay, so find those opportunities, whether it's doing a simple drag back in the bots to take it the opposite way to then find that striker who is sitting on the dot shot, whether it's driving towards the byline, as I'm actually going to teach you guys in this episode. There's a segment on that, driving towards the byline and then cutting it back with a double tap pass, which is the lob pass, or just a simple R1 pass, which is the driven pass into the striker who's open in the bots, or even just simply dribbling. Okay, dribbling in through the space, tricking your opponent, going one way, then going the other way, then going back the same way that you went first originally to open up that space to get the one-on-one with the keeper. It's crucial. We need to overcome keeper saves this year, and that's a way that you can do that. Spam passing, or ping pong passing as I like to say. Passing this year is very, very overpowered, and it just seems to stick to your attacker's feet. You're able to spam pass and pretty much not worry about having the player face the opposite direction, because it just always seems to pull off. And I do find passing is exceptionally overpowered this year, and if you guys can find a way to try and create plays by quickly making passes, whether it's triangles on the wing, whether it's in the midfield going up the pitch, use the ping pong passing, use the quick passing to your advantage, because it's very overpowered this year, and you're able to pretty much open up the defense really quickly this year because of how overpowered passing is. I just went through and told you guys how overpowered passing is this year, so what does this mean for us? We can keep a high tempo in our attacking game, which is super crucial for not being predictable and also opening up space. Tempo is exceptionally important, especially in high tense games where you're struggling to open up your opponent. If you're too slow in your attack and in your passing, you're not going to open him up, or you're at least going to struggle to open up your opponent. So be sure to utilize the passing in your attacking build-up to open up your opponent's defense. Use this to advantage inside the box, okay? Whether you're a possession style player or whether you're a counter-attacking style player. When you get into that 18-yard box area, you're able to use the ping pong passing to quickly find the gap and quickly find the striker's feet. And I find it connects a lot better this year compared to last year's, including FIFA 21 and even FIFA 20. I find the passes stick to your attacker's feet. So once you are quickly tick-attacking up the pitch and then find that striker's feet in the box, you're able to quickly find it, okay? You don't have to wait for that right opportunity. I find passing, as I was saying before, is very overpowered. So when you get up into that final third, you can quickly make those passes and pretty much find that striker's feet to make a turn and then get that shot off. Skill moves, a vital attacking staple in your FIFA 22 attacking arsenal, and especially with just your simple ones, including the heel to heel, the ball roll, the drag back. One thing I do want to mention about skill moves this year in FIFA 22 is that they are not as overpowered as previous years. They are useful, certain ones in certain situations, as I was saying. Ball roll, heel to heel, body feint, your simple skill moves that you're going to be able to use in certain situations that will create space for you or even create angles to get a shot off. They're important. However, spamming skill moves this year, like you could in previous years, doesn't work. Okay, they're not as useful. And what I find is passing is the most overpowered thing this year. So you need to focus on that when you are attacking in FIFA 22. Skill moves will be useful, but not as useful as previous years. And you need to keep that in mind. Left stick dribbling, not as useful as previous years, but is still useful in certain situations. Whether it's losing a midfielder in the midfield, whether it's losing a defender with your striker inside the box, whether it's in general just trying to weave in and out of tackles. You can use it, but it's not as good as FIFA 21. Last year, you could focus on dribbling without passing as much. This year, it's a passing game. You need to use your R1 passes. You need to use the ping pong passing that's in the game currently, okay, to open up your player's defense. You can't do it with dribbling this year. However, if you're wanting to lose a defender, it's very good to go one way, then go the other way, then go again the other way, and you're able to lose a defender that way in the box or even in the midfield, and that's what I find is very useful. Recycling the ball, I can guarantee you not many YouTube tutorials will deconstruct this for you in FIFA 22. What recycling the ball means is basically taking the ball onto the wing, holding it around the wing area for a short period of time and waiting for your opponent's defense to then drag out that side of the wing to then open up gaps in the center of the field. It's a super useful, overpowered, vital way of attacking in FIFA 22, and I do want to mention in any year of FIFA this has worked. It again works in FIFA 22 because it's only natural. Your opponent's defense will slide one way to then open up gaps on the other side, so you can take it from the one side of the wing then into the middle of the pitch where there'll be open gaps and you're able to find that pass into your striker to turn and have a shot. And what did I mention earlier? Passing this year, especially ping pong passing, because of how overpowered it is, it makes finding your striker a lot easier. Okay, so recycling the ball is yet again a very vital way of attacking, but it's super overpowered in FIFA 22 because of how overpowered passing is. First time shots. My God, it gives me nightmares, but it's a reality this year in FIFA 22. Would I say they're as good as FIFA 19? Maybe not quite, but they're certainly up there. They're a lot better than FIFA 21 and 20 in my opinion, and I think you guys should definitely utilize those first time shots this year. I've tried it out quite a lot this year in FIFA 22 in the gameplay that I'm showing you guys now, and I'm telling you now, you can score quite a few goals by hitting it first time. And of course, if you can get to timing the ball, I think you'll come off with some really good shots and some really good goals, and really easy goals in my opinion. No, it's not going to fly into the top corner like FIFA 19, but it's still going to be a very useful way of attacking. And if you don't quite have time to take a touch and then shoot because the defender is on you and he's about to make a block, then hit it first time. Just lads, this year it's more than likely to go in, so don't hesitate, hit it first time and score yourself some goals in FIFA 22. Finesses outside the box, they're back, baby. Just like FIFA 19, they are a little bit scary in my opinion, but lads, it's a good way of attacking in FIFA 22. As you would know, hypermotion allows the defense to slide quite well this year, so when you have your drop back opponents, sometimes a finesse shot outside the bots will be the more viable way of shooting in FIFA 22. I do recommend using at least 2 to 3 bars of power when you're going for that top corner in a finesse situation, and I find this year they're quite overpowered. They're better than FIFA 21 in my opinion, and I think we're kind of going back to those FIFA 19 days. I did mention before that first time shots do work quite well, and so did finesses back then, back in FIFA 19, and FIFA 22 is the same. I feel like first time shots and of course finesses outside the box into the top corner are a lot more overpowered this year in FIFA 22. Through balls, my god, they're overpowered, lads. Whether it's on the ground or whether it's up in the air, through balls just seem to connect very, very well with your attacker. And when he's making that run down the wing, don't hesitate to do an over the top through ball. To do that, you need to obviously hold down L1 or you need to hold down LB on net spots and then do the through ball button, which is Y net spots or triangle on PS4. And the player will do a lobbed through ball over to the running player, and for me it connects very, very well. And again, same with the grounded through ball. All you need to do is hold down that through ball. It will thread it through the defensive line for obviously your striker or your winger to run onto that. And there's also another technique that I should mention quickly in this segment is the threaded through ball. A very good way of passing through the defense for your player to run onto it further. So what it will do is thread the through ball through the available gap of where the defense is for your winger to run through the defensive line to then run onto it and then obviously get in behind and hopefully score yourself some goals. I have also done a tutorial on this overpowered lobbed through ball in FIFA 22 on the channel. However, I will briefly go into it. The double tap lobbed through ball, which is performed by holding down L1 or LB and then double tapping the through ball button, is the most broken through ball variation in the game currently in FIFA 22. I've done a tutorial, as I said, it's on the channel, it's more in depth if you guys want to learn that, but my god is that super overpowered. It lobs it over the defense, and for some reason, even if your attacker has 60 or 70 pace, they seem to beat the opponent to it, and it's very overpowered, okay? And if you guys are looking for a way to try something different, open up the defense and get in behind, this lobbed through ball is super overpowered. Player lock, yet again, very useful this year in FIFA 22. Of course, there's going to be more in-depth tutorials on these segments like I'm going through now, but I'm going to keep it short and sweet for you on how to use player lock. All you need is the left and right analog stick, and basically you're pressing down those two at the same time, so it's L3 and R3. You're then using the right analog stick to select the player that you want. You're triggering player lock, you're then selecting the attacker that you want with the right analog stick. Now I find this is super useful, again like it was last year, in driving to the byline and then selecting the attacker inside the box that you want to then cut back to then receive the ball and then have a shot. Again, also another good way of using the player lock is with your strikers making runs. So you can have the ball out in the wing, you can then select the striker to then time the run along the defensive line to run in behind and get onto that through ball. I find they're super overpowered this year, lads, yet again, and with through balls the way they are, my god, am I going to be using the player lock in FIFA 22. Triggering runs, super important in FIFA 22 as it has been in previous years. To trigger runs, you need to tap that L1 button as well as the LB button on Xbox, and pretty much the player will start making a run. Now the player that will start making the run is the one that you're selecting with the right analog stick. So you're pointing to the player on the pitch that you want to make the run, okay, and then tapping L1, and whoever you've pointed to with the left and lobbed stick will start making that run. The same goes with R1 and RB. What that does is actually bring the attacker to you, so you're actually able to point the left and lobbed stick to the attacker that you want to come towards you to receive the ball, tap R1 or RB, and the player will come towards you. This is super, super, super important, especially for your possession style players, in my opinion. And triggering those runs, lads, look, I'm telling you now, it's very important, and if you guys can get it down pat, I'm sure you guys will be keeping some very, very good possession in FIFA 22. And shielding, compared to last year, much, much better. You need to obviously hold down that L2 or LT button on Xbox, and what that will do is allow your attacker who has possession of the ball to shield the ball away from the defender. I find it super overpowered. It's hard to get the tackle off when you're defending against it, and you're able to use this to pretty much hold up the ball. Now, holding up the ball is a very, very vital way of attacking in FIFA 22, and there's certain ways you can do this, and that's actually in the next segment that I'm about to give you guys, is holding up the ball. But L2, shielding the ball, is super OP because you find it hard to tackle, and it's very, very good to hold the ball up, to wait for those runs, and to thread that through ball through, which, as I mentioned before, through balls, my god, are they overpowered. Holding up the ball, various ways to do it. With a half drag back, you can also do it with the L1 button. By tapping that, you stand still, and then you obviously hold the ball up to wait for the opponent to make the run. Another good way also is by shielding. You're passing the ball into your striker, you're then blocking the ball off and waiting for those wingers to make runs. It's super overpowered. It allows your attacking, formation, attacking players to push up the pitch, and allows them to make better runs, and just gives you time to have a think about what you're going to do next, what pass you're going to make next, and basically what play you're going to make in FIFA 22. The Dink touch, brought to you guys this year in FIFA 22, and you're able to use it to receive the ball, flick it one way, and then shoot first time. But it also helps you stay clear of the opponent's, or the defender, the opponent's defender's foot as he's trying to tackle you, because it flips it up just over their foot for you to then have a volley on goal, and volleys are quite overpowered this year, or of course to do a subsequent skill move to burst off into the distance and into the space. It's very, very useful, especially in the midfield and also in the bots when you're passing it into your striker's feet. So be sure to use the Dink touch. It's quite easy. You just need the R3 button, okay, and basically flick it either way with the left and lobbed stick, and yeah, you're pretty much good to go. It will flick it over the defender's foot and you can burst off into the distance. Crossing the ball is actually 4 different techniques that I like to use in FIFA 22, and that's the regular cross, just by holding down the cross button, which is square on PS4, but then there's also the driven cross, where you hold down the R1 button and it does a very driven, curled cross into the box, of course brought to us by Alexander-Arnold. The other two, by holding down both the R1 and L1 button, and it will do a very driven, hard and fast cross across the face of the goal into the player who's making the run at the back post. That's the third way, and then the fourth way is the lofted cross, which I don't find is as effective, where you basically hold down L1 and it will do a lofted chipped cross into the box for your player to header the ball. The two most effective, in my opinion, is the driven hard and fast cross across the face of the goal, and the driven cross with the R1 button. I find they're very useful in terms of picking out those players who are making the run into the box, and also especially that driven lofted, not driven, but the driven hard and fast cross across the face of the goal is very good for picking out that player at the back post who is making that run. Another technique is, of course, the lofted cross, which you can perform by holding down the L1 button. I don't find it's as effective this year unless you have a very tall striker to power over the defender to header it into the goal. But what it does is a more lofted cross into the box, which is a lot higher than your regular cross, to essentially, cross it into your opponent, into your attacker, and get that header on goal. Moving into, of course, the lofted pass. What a passing technique this is. There's actually multiple ways you can perform this, and I find the best ways, in my opinion, are with the through ball and the normal pass itself. But another way you can do it is a driven lofted pass, and I'll get into that just a second. But to perform the lofted pass itself, you just need to double tap the pass button, and basically the player will do a little lofted pass over the defender's foot into the player who you are aiming towards. And another way of doing it is, of course, the through ball. You can actually do a through ball lofted pass, which will basically loft it through, not as high as a normal lofted or a normal over the top through ball, but it's a little bit higher than the regular. That will sort of bypass the defender's foot if they go to make that interception. And then, of course, the third way is the driven variation, where I don't mind this myself. It's quite useful in certain situations where you hold down R1, you then double tap the pass button, and it will do a very hard and fast lofted pass across the face of the goal into the player who is open to then score you guys a goal. I honestly recommend using this a lot. It's very good at bypassing defenders' feet, and essentially very good way of attacking and passing in FIFA 22.
Timed finishing. It's crucial, it's vital, it's back in FIFA 22. I've done a full tutorial, a deconstructed tutorial, an in-depth tutorial on this for you guys already on the channel, so be sure to go and check that out. But I'm going to give you a brief tutorial in this segment here today. Basically what time finishing is you shooting, then pressing shoot again to time the shot or the connection of the foot onto the ball, okay? And what this will do is give you a white indicator, a red indicator, a yellow indicator, or a green indicator. Green is the best. That means you've timed the shot and it has more of a chance of going into the back of the net because it's increased the power, increased the overall accuracy, and in general it increases the chances of you hitting the back of the net. Okay, yellow is early, red is mistimed, and then white has no overall impact on the shot at all because if you've been too late, okay, with the actual time itself. The best way to practice timing shots, in my opinion, is going into kickoff, selecting the difficulty to beginner, and then trying all different shot types: headers, volleys, first time shots, finesses outside the box, long shots, regular shots with your striker or your winger with the ball at their feet. I recommend doing that because that will give you the best chance of practicing and getting better at timing shots. The best way to time it is by shooting, so holding down the power button around 2 bars of power, okay, then waiting for the player's foot to get around 25 centimeters to half a meter away from the ball, okay, in game. Roughly, okay, you need to estimate this, and this comes with practice in actually judging this, and then pressing shoot again. I wouldn't recommend pressing shoot or consciously waiting for the player's foot to go down onto the ball because you'll mistime it, okay, and this is where practice will come in, is you going into skill, in skill games, is you going into kickoff, practicing, timing the shot, getting the animations in your head so that you know when to press shoot again, and that will give you the best time and chance in it, and that will give you the best chance of timing it. And my god, is it useful this year in FIFA 22. It's vital, and you guys should definitely implement it into your FIFA 22 attacking game. Driving towards the byline, an attacking technique that will make your opponent leak goals. This is a very efficient way of driving towards that line and picking out an attacker who is available inside the box. What I find is, when you drive towards that byline, your opponent will usually select a defender, go towards the attacker who is driving towards the byline, and then that leaves open attackers inside the box for you to do a double tap pass, which is a lofted pass, for you to do a regular pass, or even an R1 pass, which is very, very overpowered this year in FIFA 22. Now, what I find is, if you can do this, lads, and all it requires is you using that RT or R2 sprint button, sprinting towards the byline with your pacey strikers, wingers, whatever it is, whoever it is, and then just cutting it back. It leads goals, and it's a very good way of attacking in FIFA 22, like it has been in previous years, in FIFA 21, FIFA 20, and even 19.
So there you have it, my attacking tutorial for FIFA 22. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and most importantly, I hope you learned something in this FIFA 22 attacking tutorial, whether it might be triggering runs, whether it's skill moves, or whether it's in general just a formation that you guys didn't know you could use in a certain situation. I hope you guys did like and enjoy it. So be sure to like this video and also subscribe. And one thing I want to mention, lads, is I'm doing tutorials snapshot tutorials of my tutorials on YouTube, on Instagram and TikTok. So be sure to go and check me out over there. Links are in the description down below, as I am posting tutorials over there to help you guys improve for the FIFA 22 season. But as always, I hope you guys have a good day. I'm out. Sayonara. Au revoir. Adios. And goodbye.